Yeah.
I can make out by your voice itself. Huh? Okay, fine, Pooja. So, Pooja, in our last session, lot of topics we had covered. Okay, can you
Yes,
please
sir.
recap which are topics we discussed in our last session?
Mm, we discussed about monkey or gorilla testing,
Very good,
the
Pooja.
difference between ad hoc testing, monkey testing, and exploratory testing.
Very good.
We learned about positive testing and negative testing,
Very good.
and we got to know about the globalization and localization testing,
Okay.
also end to end testing.
Also, end-to-end testing. So, these many things we discussed in our last session. So, in this session, important topic we are going to discuss, Pooja. So, as a test engineer, you should be knowing regarding this topic, Pooja. Okay. So, please take down thing as test design techniques or test case design techniques. Okay. Test design techniques or test case design techniques. Have you ever heard about this, ma? Test design techniques or test case design techniques regarding this?
Mhm. No, sir.
Have you not heard? No issues. Okay. Pooja, for you one task I will give, Pooja. Okay. So which application is this?
Facebook,
Okay. Completely you focus. What type of component is this, Pooja?
uh, email and text field.
So generally we call this component as text field.
Text field. Mm.
So in this application for this text field they have given one name, email address or phone number. Do you agree with my point? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Let us assume, Pooja, I am your team lead. I am your team lead. I will just ask you, Pooja, you have to test this email address or phone number text field. For this text field, write test cases. Or in other words, list out the values through which values you can test this text field. Like that I will tell you. Okay. And I will give you requirement also, Pooja. So Pooja, this text field will accept email address. That email address should be in the form of @gmail.com, and it will be accepting minimum 25 characters, maximum 96 characters, and then it can accept only numbers also. It can accept combination of alphabets, numbers, special characters. Like this, lot of requirements I will give you, Pooja, regarding this email address or phone number text field. Now tell me, Pooja, with how many number of values, with how many number of test cases you are going to test this one small text field? Can you tell me? Can you tell me exactly with how many number of values you can test this one small text field? Can you tell me? Is it
Mhm.
possible?
Mhm.
It
Don't
is
know.
not possible. And one more thing, Pooja is extraordinary test engineer. So for this extraordinary test engineer, I will just ask to test this one small text field. Anyways, you are extraordinary test engineer. What you will do? You will check this one small text field with all possible values, day and night, giving values, checking, giving values, checking, giving values, checking. Why are you doing like this? Don't tell me, sir, I'm an extraordinary test engineer. Okay. See, tell me, just testing this one small text field. Is it necessary for us to provide all possible inputs?
Mm-hmm.
It is not necessary. Correct or wrong? Tell me.
Mm. Correct, sir.
See, we are not getting that idea only. With how many number of inputs we have to test this one small text field. See, like this, n number of text fields will be there in the application. N number of components will be there. Next, you come to login button. We can't predict with how many number of test cases we have to check this login button. See, simply we can understand. Based upon that understanding, however we want, we can test that component also. But please remember, however we want, if we are just giving all the possible values to any component, and if we are performing testing means one Janma, it is not sufficient. I am telling you. More time it is required. Now tell me, if more time is required to test this one small text field means, when are you going to complete testing whole application? More time it is required, less time it is required.
More time.
More time it is required. Don't you think, or will you consider this as a problem?
Yes, sir.
Yes, problem. What is that problem? We are just checking the component with all the possible inputs. Why? We don't know. We don't know with how many number of inputs we have to check the component. That is the reason. All these problems we are going to face. What, sir? For this problem, no solution, sir? Yes, there is a solution. That solution is only, my dear Pooja, test design techniques or test case design techniques. Please remember. Read that first point, Pooja, by yourself. Please read that.
Test design techniques helps to design better cases.
Better test cases. Self-explanatory, I guess. Much explanation is not required for that first point. Pooja?
Mm.
No.
Not required.
Second point, you just read it out by yourself. Quickly.
Reduce the number of test cases to be executed.
Say, if you just keep on executing the test cases, executing the test cases, executing the test cases, it takes more time. Correct or wrong?
Correct, sir.
So using these test case design techniques or test design techniques, we can reduce number of or number of test cases to be executed. If we are reducing number of inputs or number of test cases to be executed, don't you think we can reduce the time?
Yes, sir.
With the less time, we have to cover each and every corner of the software product. If you have more number of inputs, or in other words, if you have more number of test cases to execute, tell me for you, is it possible to touch each and every corners of the software product in less time?
Yes, sir.
Understand my question. If you have more number of inputs, or if you have more number of test cases, in less time, can you cover each and every corner of the software product?
No,
No, it is
not possible.
but reduced number of test cases are there. Now, in less time, can you cover each and every corner of the software product? No. Please remember. So this is the beauty of test design techniques. So here there are few techniques. Okay. Equivalence class partitioning. boundary value analysis, decision table based testing, state transition, and then error guessing. See, my dear Pooja, using these test design techniques, we can reduce number of test cases to be executed. Okay, we can have less number of inputs or less number of test cases, so that we can cover each and every corner of the software product. Effectively, we can test the software product with less time. So this is our main intention, Pooja. Less time, we have to cover each and every corner of the software product. We are not supposed to miss even a single corner, 1-inch corner also. I hope you are getting my point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Below that, you write down example. So, Pooja, just a minute. Okay. So, example, you write down email address or phone number text field. Email address or phone number text field. Email address or phone number text field. Put one hyphen and continue. Normally, if we want to test, if we want to test this small component, if we want to test this small component, we will provide all the possible inputs. We will provide all the possible inputs. We will provide all the possible inputs to the field or all the possible test cases we are going to execute, or all the possible test cases we are going to execute. Full stop. Now tell me, Pooja, if we are doing like this, what problem we are going to encounter?
Takes more time.
So in less time, we cannot touch each and every corner of the software product. In less time, we cannot test the software product effectively. Do you agree with my point, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Write down further point. What will you write? Full stop.
If we
Write down. If we test the software product with all the possible inputs, if we test the small component with all possible inputs, if we test the small component with all the possible inputs, more time will be consumed. More time will be consumed. More time will be consumed. Full stop. In the real time, less time we have to take. In the real time, less time we have to take to test the software product effectively. to test the software product effectively. Good stuff. So this para you have understood, I guess, Pooja.
Yes, sir.
Next para you write. Next. In order to test the software product effectively in less time. In order to test the software product effectively in less time. Effectively in less time. We should use test design techniques. We should use test design techniques. We should use test design techniques. Okay, Pooja? Copied up, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, please copy down these things. Okay? You should get to know. Okay? Copy down these points. Once done, please inform me.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Okay. Fine, Pooja. So, how many techniques basically we are having?
5.
See, through these techniques, we will get to know any component, if it is there, means with how many number of inputs we have to test that component, or in other words, with how many number of test cases we have to test that component. Are you getting my point now, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
So now one by one let us discuss. Which is the first technique, Pooja? Equivalence class partitioning. Read that first point, Pooja. Just read.
Partition data into various classes and we can select data according to class, then test. It reduced the number of test cases and saved time for testing.
Okay. So don't worry. I will give you clarity on that point in some time. Here there is one text field. The text field name is enter a number. Okay. So here there is a requirement. Allow digits from 1 to 500. See, normal test data. See, we are fresher, very fresher level, or normally normal person or normal people we are. So when we give normal people to test this one small text field, what they will do? They will start with one. One they will enter. They will check this text field is working or not. Next, two they will enter. If they enter two, this text field is working or not, they will check. Next three they will enter. They will check this text field. Next four they will enter. They will check this text field. Next five they will enter. They will check this text field. Next six, next seven, like that. Each and every values up to 500 they are going to enter and they are going to check this one small text field. Tell me, like this, if you are testing one small component, you are going to take more time or less time to test the software product?
More time.
More time. Okay. So normal test data, it is ruled out, Pooja. Okay, it is ruled out. Now, technique is available. Which technique we are discussing? Equivalence class partitioning. Now, Pooja, in equivalence class partitioning, range of values you should get to know. What is the range of values where this small text field is going to accept? 1 to 500. Correct or wrong?
Correct, sir.
So this 1 to 500 values are there. No? You have to just partition into these classes. -100 to 0. 1 to 100. 101 to 200. 201 to 300. 301 to 400. 401 to 500. 501 to 600. Here, how many number of classes are there? Or partitions are there, my dear Pooja?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 partitions are there. Okay. See, only positive numbers, even negative numbers also you have to consider. With negative numbers also you have to check this text field, enter a number. So that is why one class we have considered or one partition we have considered of that kind. -100 to 0. 1 to 100. 101 to 200. 201 to 300. 301 to 400. 401 to 500. 501 to 600. So how to partition the things you got to know, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see, from each and every class, so this is one class or this is one partition. One value you have to consider. Say, between -100 to 0, one value we have to consider. So here, which value have we considered?
Sir, 1 to 100.
-1 to 0. Between this range, one value we have to consider. Which value have we considered?
Minus 50.
-50. So now tell me, refer to the requirement. -50, is it valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Invalid. Why it is invalid? Because it is not
It
in this
says-
range. Okay. Now, Pooja, next partition you have 1 to 100. Between this range, one value you have to pick. So here we have taken 30. It is your wish, Pooja. You can take 99 also. You can take 88 also. It is your wish. Any number between 1 to 100. Are you getting my point, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
So here we have taken or we have chosen 30. Now 101 to 200, one value. 201 to 300, one value. 301 to 400, one value. 401 to 500, one value. 501 to 600, one value. 550. Now you can answer with how many valid values we have to test the entire number text field, with how many number of invalid test this entire number text field.
With 5 valid and 2 invalid.
Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
See
Yes, sir.
now, with how many values, totally with how many values you are going to test this one small component?
7 values.
Tell me, effectively can you test?
Yes, sir.
Is it going to take more time or less time?
Test time.
So this is the beauty of this equivalence class partitioning. So in equivalence class partitioning, we are going to partition the data into various classes. So this is the data. This is the data. So this data we are going to partition into various classes. And then what are we going to do? From each and every class, one value we are going to consider. Are you getting my point, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
No doubts, no?
Sir,
Hmm.
one doubt.
Yeah.
If we consider any one value in between the range that classes we have divided, no, is it valid for all the numbers that is in the that class range?
See,
Is it like that? Is
see,
this test is like that?
see, this is proven technique, man. They have researched about this technique. So this technique tells in each and every class, okay, one value, with one value, if you are testing the software, that is more than sufficient. They have researched, they have done lot of research on this technique. Okay,
Hmm. Okay.
that's okay. Right up. Understand and write, Pooja. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here normal test data we don't follow, but we follow this and this.
That's it.
Done, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Have you understood now?
Understood, sir.
So which is the next type of technique, ma?
Boundary value analysis.
Okay, fine. Boundary value analysis. So one more example, Pooja. The equivalence class partitioning. Okay. Uh, take a screen, photo. So later you just refer to this, Pooja. Okay. So please quickly take down the
Yes, sir. Take
photo.
it.
Okay. Boundary value analysis. See, this is based upon the formula, Pooja. Okay. So in equivalence class partitioning, what we did, Pooja? So data
Oh,
used to be there according to the requirements. We used to consider that data. Based upon the data, we used to partition the data into many classes. Correct?
yes, sir.
So here in boundary value analysis, we will check for the minimum value, maximum value. So here there is one text field, enter a age text field. What is the requirement, Pooja? What is the requirement?
Allow digits from 18 to 35. 18 to
18 to
35.
35. That's all. So for that, you have to just use this formula. Min minus 1, min plus 1. Max minus 1, max plus 1. Now, you please refer to this requirement. What is the minimum value, Pooja?
18.
Okay. 18. Is it valid value or invalid value?
Valid.
Very good. Now, minus 1. What is minimum value, Pooja?
18.
Minus 1.
17.
7. Now tell me, valid value or invalid value?
Invalid.
Very good. Next, min plus 1, Pooja. What is the min value?
18.
Plus 1. Total 19.
19.
Valid value or invalid value, Pooja?
Valid.
Why it is valid? That is within the range. Maximum value. Can you tell me the maximum value, Pooja? By referring to
35.
35. Valid value within the range. Max minus 1. Tell me. What is the max?
34.
35 minus 1. That is 30.
1.
So it is within the range. Valid value. Max plus 1. It is 36. 36 is not in range. That is
Range.
invalid value. So boundary value analysis is based upon the formula. Now tell me, Pooja. According to boundary value analysis, how many number of valid values you have to consider? How many number of invalid values you have to consider, Pooja?
4 valid values and 2 invalid.
Do you feel is it effective?
Yes, sir.
So in less time we can test the software product, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Very, very much important. So when we start with the project, Pooja, so we will be exploring all these techniques. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
For now, you understand this much. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
So
Clear.
write down, copy down this. Copy down this. Once done, please inform.
Done, sir.
Okay, fine. Next technique. So decision table. Okay. Next technique is what? Decision table. So using this decision table based technique, how to derive the test cases? Now let us understand. So before knowing that, little decision table. What is this decision table technique is all about? Let us understand. So decision table is also called as what? Cause effect table. And one more thing, if you want to use this technique, Pooja, conditions and corresponding actions should be there. So if you have one condition, so for that condition, corresponding actions should be there. In decision table technique, we deal with combinations of inputs. To identify the test cases with decision table, we consider conditions and actions. So please remember, one important point you have to remember, Pooja, if you want to implement this decision table technique to derive the test cases or to derive the inputs, you should be having conditions and what? Corresponding actions. Are you getting my point, Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Next. Here you see. One example. Take an example of transferring money online to an account which is already added and approved. Okay. So this is the example, or this is one feature. So using this feature, we should be able to transfer money online to an account which is already added and approved. Say beneficiary adding, you know, right? Pooja, online transaction have you done, no?
Yes, sir.
So when can you transfer the money through online? Okay. When can you transfer the money? You should be adding that account.
Adding the beneficiary.
Beneficiary you should be adding. And then it has to get approved. Correct? So now for this functionality or for this feature, conditions are there and corresponding actions are there. Read out conditions, Pooja. Read out the conditions, Pooja.
Account already approved. OTP, one time password matched. Sufficient money in the account.
See, if you want to transfer the money to another account, these three conditions should be getting satisfied. Are you getting my point?
Hmm.
Next, actions you read out.
Transfer money.
Hmm.
Show a message as insufficient amount.
Hmm.
Block the transaction in case of suspicious transaction.
Okay. Now you please listen to me, Pooja. If all these conditions, if all these three conditions are satisfied, transfer money. What corresponding action should be performed, Pooja? If all the conditions are satisfied?
Money should be transferred.
Very good, super. Now, Pooja, OTP is not getting matched. Say, suppose account already approved. This condition is perfectly getting satisfied. Sufficient money in the account is also there. Two conditions are satisfied. But middle one time password is not getting matched. Now tell me, Pooja, which action, corresponding action should be performed, Pooja?
Block the transaction in case of suspicious transaction.
Very good, Pooja. I really appreciate you. Super. Okay. Now, Pooja. Account already approved. This condition is satisfied. One time password matched. Super. Extraordinary. Satisfied. Read that third condition, Pooja.
Sufficient money in the account.
This condition is not satisfied. Now tell me, which corresponding action should be performed, Pooja?
Show a message as insufficient amount.
I hope you are getting my point. How to analyze the requirement or how to analyze the feature flow. You are getting my point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So conditions, actions, both these things are there. Now can we implement decision table technique?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Notice. Okay. These things I will tell you how to understand these things. Condition 1, account already approved. Condition 2, OTP matched. Condition 3, sufficient money in the account. Action 1, transfer money. Action 2, show message insufficient amount. Action 3, block the transaction in case of suspicious transaction. So all the conditions, actions you have to tabulate in the table. Clear? Now, test cases you have to derive. Okay, now you please notice. This is test case 1. Account already approved. Condition satisfied. Means true, Pooja. True. OTP matched. True. Sufficient money in the account. True. Now tell me, which action should be performed, Pooja?
Money should be transferred. Transfer money.
So this one has to be performed. So this is one test case. Understood? Okay. Now come to test case 2. Account already approved. Satisfied. True means satisfied. OTP matched. True. Satisfied. Sufficient money in the account. Not satisfied. Now tell me, which action should be performed? Show message
Show message insufficient amount.
So test case 2 over. Next, test case 3. Account already approved, satisfied. OTP matched, not satisfied. Sufficient money in the account, satisfied. So now tell me, action 3 should be getting means block the transaction in case of suspicious transaction. Clear, Pooja?
Clear, sir.
So till now, how many test cases we derived using decision table technique?
3.
Now 4. True, false, false. Execute. Which action will be getting executed? Action number 3. So test case 5. See, account already approved, that condition is not satisfied. So but having this test case is waste. Simply I have written it, but actually speaking, this one feature, okay, to test this one feature, how many number of test cases we have to execute?
4.
Okay, do you feel is it effective?
Yes, sir.
Less time is it going to take, a more time is it going to take?
Less time.
Effectively you can test the software product in less time. One thing keep in your mind, decision table technique if you want to implement means condition should be there, corresponding
Corresponding
actions should
action. Hmm.
be clear. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so please write down. Once written, please inform me so that I will display the another slide.
Done, sir. Well said. Done, sir.
Okay. So how many till now techniques we have completed, Pooja?
3, sir.
Three. So one was equivalence class partitioning, another was
Boundary value analysis,
and another was decision.
decision table technique.
So now task I will assign, okay, for you. Search, okay, by yourself. That example should hold good decision table based technique. Okay, one example you search. For that example, you write down the test cases. Is it possible, Pooja? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Your wish. But one clarity you got, no, regarding decision table technique.
Yes, sir.
Based upon that clarity, Pooja, you identify, you search one example and write down the test cases. Okay. And one more thing, these techniques are there, no? Very much important. Okay, very much important from real time perspective. So you'll be encountering with lot of situations, lot of problems. So for all those problems, these test design techniques will provide you solution. So don't worry, when we start with the project, we are going to surely explore all these techniques. So for today, 3 techniques are sufficient. Okay, if I start with the other 2 techniques, it is going to take time. So I will halt the session, but keep revising the things. So another 3 to 4 sessions, Pooja, we will be completing the manual testing, Pooja. Okay, so manual testing we will be completing. So afterwards, we will start with the project. After project, Pooja, we will begin with SQL. Are you aware of SQL, Pooja?
Heard of it, but don't know what it is
You
exactly.
have not explored any concepts in SQL. You don't know what is the importance of SQL. Okay. DBMS, have you heard? Database
Yes, sir.
management system. Oracle, have you heard? MySQL, have you heard?
Oracle, I have heard.
MySQL, I guess you have not heard.
I have heard with only the term. Don't know what it is.
Okay. Maybe in at your office, Oracle database might be there, I guess.
No, we'll not use that. But recently we had a project in Tumkur only, where we have fixed the water meters to all the houses.
Okay.
In Tumkuru, 2 companies have executed the project. One is L&T,
Hmm.
and other companies ours.
Hmm.
Uh, in L&T, there was a task assigned to them, like they need to establish a CRM center,
Hmm.
and they need to issue the water bills. Like likewise, how the electricity bills is being issued now. Likewise, the same water meter bill should be issued. For that, they have established a CRM center in the corporation office,
Hmm.
and for them, we were suggested to do so. So for that, we had contacted a software supplier, and he had given us the all the software data which are required to manage this all the data of the customers
Okay.
and the billing cycle.
Okay. Queries also
So,
he had shared with you. Queries. Or
sir,
that entire software he has given for you people.
I had given the model, and also,
Model.
but he had given the actual software product also, but it was not executed due to corporation didn't agree to pay us the amount.
Okay. Quotation was
We had
there.
got we had got the project from KUWSDB.
Hmm.
For this billing purpose and all, the local corporation has to
Approve.
give some amount to the to our water board.
But
So they didn't agree to give us. So the project was left out there itself.
so there itself that project got dropped.
Yeah.
So it didn't continue. Okay.
Hmm.
Shows Puja. See, through this DBMS SQL, you will get to know how to build your own database. Okay, your own database you will get to know. And especially for test engineer, SQL is required or DBMS is required to perform database testing. See, you take any application. You know Facebook application, Puja?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Database will be there. Why we use the database, Puja? Why we use the database? To manage the data. Correct?
Hmm.
We will store the data. Whenever we will retrieve the data. Correct?
Hmm.
So to manage. Okay. So you have to test the database as well. So properly the developer has developed the database or not. So for that purpose, DB, SQL you should be learning. Afterwards, we will start with the Java, next Selenium, next database testing. See, Pooja, once you learned Java, okay, afterwards for me 10 days, 12 days required, that's all. But first you have to learn Java properly, Pooja, for me.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you learn Java properly now, for me easy to teach you anything further. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm?
Okay, sir.
But Pooja, it takes time, Pooja. Have patience. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
why? Because see, only anyways night we will be having the session. 1 hour I will be taking. That's all. Weekends not possible. Why? Because I know you do have personal life, so you people have to give time for your family. You'll be having lot of works on the weekends also. Okay.
Hmm.
So but only 1 hour. So it is going to take some time. Okay. So have patience, Pooja. Hmm? But
Yes, sir.
I will make you people pro in software testing. Okay. You will become extraordinary test engineer. To that extent, I will give you training, Pooja.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Fine, Pooja. But don't forget the task which I have assigned for you.
Yes,
Tomorrow,
sir. I'll not.
5 minutes, initial 5 minutes, we will invest to discuss that task itself. You have to tell, sir, this is the example, sir. For this feature, using decision table technique, these many test cases I have written. You have to tell. Okay? Hmm?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine,
I
Pooja.
will.
We will meet in the next session, ma. Thank you so much for attending this session. God bless you. Please